session focuses on transforming research ideas into quality publications. We are honored to welcome Dr. Ramesh Kumar KL from All India Institute of Ayurveda, New Delhi. Sir is currently serving there as an associate professor, and his current work in AIIA focuses on translational research, bridging classical Ayurvedic wisdom with modern scientific methodologies, a vital area driving the contemporary integration of Ayurveda into evidence-based healthcare. So, as a member of the Board of Studies at the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and serves on the editorial board of the Journal of Indian Medical Heritage, he also contributes to content development and validation for postgraduate Ayurveda programs under NCISM and reviews for several reputed journals, including JAIM, JOA, and JDRS. Sir will be speaking on From Idea to Indexing Quality Publications in Ayurveda. Let's welcome Ramesh, sir, warmly.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very good evening to the organizers. At the outset, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizers for having me in this orientation activity. So the subject given to me to speak about is idea to indexing there is quality publications in Ayurveda. It's of course a very huge, vast subject area to cover. But today I would rather focus on a kind of like idealistic approach, like how we can accomplish the objective of achieving or enhancing the quality publications in Ayurveda. So to begin with, say in Tarka Sangraha, there is a statement like Vakyam Dvividam Vaidikam Lokikamscha. So there are two kinds of statements can be observed. One is Vaidikam and Lokikamscha. And Lokikam to Aptavachanam Pramanam. So Annambata very clearly mentions that the second way of statement is Lokika statement. That is, what is that Lokika statement means? It is Aptavachanam Pramanam. So Aptavachanam is considered to be or equivalent, or it is a pramana. It's a a validated source of information that can be believed and can be taken further for understanding as well as implementations in our actions. And I also would like to say that if we see the heritage of Indian medical literatures, Charaka Samhita is a product of Aptavachana. We consider this as the foundation source of our knowledge as well as information. And I would also mention scientific publications are also a kind of Aptavachanas. So aptastu yathartha vakta. So we know that. So it is the realistic observations or the realistic the nature of being is being observed by the apta. We can say apta. It is we have three formats of apta: apta, shishta, vibuddha. But apta is essentially a scientist. Aptastu yathartha vakta. Nirajastamaha. So trikalam amalam, so avyahata sadahata. So the knowledge that is being produced by apta, it is absolutely a scientific knowledge. In the activity of science, it is very, very objective and which is very close to the reality, and it is the real observation of the being in its true self, and that is being produced. So that is believed and received and treated as one of the valid source of informations. And today, all these publications, whatever the scientific literatures which is available in the public domain, it is nothing but an apta, or it is nothing but a scientific activity. So here, the person who writes scientific literature, he is essentially a apta. So with this background, I would like to continue with the presentation. So if you permit, can I share my slides, please? Is it visible? Is I'm
Yeah,
audible?
visual, sir.
Yeah.
Audible, sir. Audible.
Yeah,
Visual,
yeah.
sir.
So today I would be covering briefly, summing up of these informations in my 45 minutes talk. I'll be focusing on briefly about like it's known to everyone, but just to revise the things since the title to proceed as per the title. So I will just briefly introducing about what is indexing and what is the criteria or nature of indexing and what is the importance of it. And the second thing I would be focusing on the status of research output in India because research output is fundamentally measured through publications. So publications are the very important, the measuring criteria to understand the quality as well as the quantity of the research output. And moving further, I would be also focusing briefly about status of Ayush research with regard to the Ayush infrastructure in India. And the further the ways ahead to improve publications in Ayurveda, and I will conclude my presentation, right? So, to begin with, index and why it is important. Okay, so as we all know that, we are familiar with ICH GCP. So the clinical trials which were done since very ancient times, and now also it is being done. But the post the Second World War or the post the formation of the Nuremberg Code and later on the evolution of GCP or the formation of ICH GCP, any clinical trial conducted in compliance with the ICH GCP is believed to be one of the more acceptable, the more scientific and more ethical research product. And that serves as a platform which testifies the quality work that has been carried out by the investigator. So it is like a quality assurance has been given by adhering to the principles of ICS GCP, like Quality Council of India. So that is the standard. So similarly, indexing in a common term, how we can understand. So if a journal is being indexed by some reputed, organization, so that naturally enhances the reputation and the scientific validity of that particular journal as well as the contents which are there in the journal. So it is a list of journals organized by various criterias like maybe a discipline or subject region or many other factors. So it is to guide anybody who is seeking some information with regard to their research activity. So that provides a consolidated category of informations and which are believed to be the quality informations. So that's how this indexing is the purposed. And also, it is also as an author publishing the research activity in an indexed journal. So naturally, it enhances the credibility and visibility of the author's work or the particular scientist's work. So as I mentioned, like if you have a NABH accreditation to any hospital, like how it is, it creates a perception and it ensures the quality adherence of that particular hospital. Similarly, if any journal is indexed in some of the organizations, it naturally enhances the trust among the readers. And that's how it assures that the material they are getting is a quality material. And also say for example any journal, it is naturally like the reputation of the journal is perceived in terms of like in how many abstracting and indexing services cover that particular journal. So that naturally enhances the reputation. So every journal which aims to be covered by many indexing services as much as possible, so that increases the reputation of the journal. So, like these indexing services are provided by various organizations of various nature or various, the category, as we say, so for example, we are dealing with Ayurveda. So we all know that Ayush Research Portal is owned and maintained by CCRAS, Ministry of Ayush. Similarly, ICMR is maintaining the INDMED database, similar to PubMed. So these are fundamentally funded and owned and governed by the government organizations. And similarly, there are various indexing services are available from the analytical companies. The major or the giant, we may say that Web of Science. So we all know that that has many indexing resources related to various category of that. Say, for example, AHS, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, and social science citation indexing, and science citation index expand. So these are the various. So based on the different categories of the subject areas, so these analytical companies cover the indexing, or they provide the indexing services. And also in some cases, Elsevier is the owner of Scopus, so the publisher themselves also they provide indexing services. So largely there may be still various other categories, but we may superficially say that these are the three important or three categories of indexing services. So yeah. So moving further, the journal and index. So, what is the relationship? How can we weigh the association between a journal and its indexing service provider? So, journals in subscription-based indexes are generally perceived to be or believed to be, high-quality journals. So, for example, if you pay money or if we pay more money, we naturally tend to believe that. So they must be high quality journals. So that is one common perception that is there. And for some extent, that may be true also, because to maintain or to sustain with the quality of their indexing, probably that is also one of the very essential criteria. And naturally, the second thing, as I mentioned earlier, so most journals belong to more than one index. So to improve their visibility and the credibility as well as so it is always recommended to choose a journal which is indexed by various indexing service providers. So naturally, the more number of indexing service providers are there to any particular journal, so that is believed to be having a highly reputed journal. So in that way, a author can choose a journal based on the indexing services also. That is a kind of the quality standards, how it is being. Yeah. So how this indexing, what are the criterias usually for indexing the journals? So how it is being done? So there are various criterias are there, but to mention few, so these are the very important criterias which are necessary for a journal to be indexed in some specific services. So as we all know that, so ISS number is the most important one. So that is periodicity, the on recurring basis. If the periodical is being published, so that is validated with this ISSN number. And it is also very essential for the journal to have a very established periodic schedule, so that the continuity of the volumes or the issues should not be hampered. So that is the most important, because sustaining with the continuity in terms of producing the journals or subsequent issues or volumes is very, very challenging. And it is also a very huge task on behalf of the editorial board to achieve that. So in that way, this is very, very important to have a consistency in periodical or periodic publications of the journal. And another most important thing, digital object identifiers. This is also very, very important, because that's this DOI which never changes, unlike the website link, which may change based on various the reasons. And another most important thing is the copyright. That is very, very important. The journal or a copyright policy which helps to protect your work and outlines the rules for the use or sharing of your work. That is also very, very because the journal must have this legal protection through which the author enjoys considerable right among the published literature in a specific journal. And also there are other important criteria that is also being considered to or while indexing any journal. So that is very important, like conflict of interest statements or ethical approval statements or the transparency or the nature of the editorial board. So these are the things to screen whether the journal is authentic and it's a very genuine to screen or to filter it from other many predatory journals. So these are the criteria for indexing. So after that, after all, it is very, very important. So why indexing is important? Why do we need to choose a journal which has a good indexing services into it? So as we say that the scientific improvement or the scientific output is fundamentally measured through research publications. And because publication, the second most important thing is we all know that the citations. So citations is essentially depends upon the visibility and increased reach. So how it is possible if although a very good article or a research paper which is published in a very not so good journal may naturally limit the chances or the probability of reaching out to maximum number of information seekers. So this is very, very fundamental to enhance our research visibility. It is very, very essential and mandatory to have a good indexing services, a journal with a good indexing services. So that is the most important thing. And second thing is higher citation rates, as I said now. With this, the quality of the research work which has been carried out by some scientists is naturally validated and testified by citing some author's work in various other publications. So that naturally enhances the reputation of that particular work and also adds value to the work which is being carried out. And second, the next one is the validation of the quality. So it means like as I mentioned, like QCI, like NABH, like ICH, GCP. So these recognitions or these tags naturally enhances the quality validation. Similarly, if a journal is indexed, so naturally that validates the contents of the journal or with a high quality or high standards. And of course, for anybody who is in the academia or in the research activities or any profession fundamentally related with research as a one of a primary or associated activity. So this is very, very important for the career advancement as well. So these are the very few the necessary, like why indexing is important. So moving on to the next, we all know that so the indexing service Ayurveda Index. We all know that Ayurveda Ayush Research Portal run by CCRAs. So we can see so what is the number of the articles which are available with the various categories of clinical and various other types of researches, and it is also is one of the very good source that is serving the early the researchers, particularly the postgraduate and doctoral and the early career in the research. It is a very, very useful platform. Also, it has some different, the quality standards, but it is really one of the very useful database to, access with many publications related to Ayush systems. And also, as I said, like Intimate, that is also another indexing services that is managed by ICMR. So in the first part, so far I have covered about what is indexing, what is the how it is being done, what is the importance of it, and with an example of Ayurveda indexing, what is available. So in the second part, I want to just drag your attention with regard to the the research and development in India in overview. Like the few slides, I just want to capture your attention because the research activity is very, very essential, to enhance the quality of the publications because the publications are nothing but the contents of the research activity. So before going to that, we, just have a look at the research activity. So as we all know that the government has prioritized the science or the R&D activities. So we can also notice that the Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan captions are being included, and also government is pushing for with a lump sum corpus to promote R&D in including public sector as well as the private sectors. So this is the recent developments which are happening. So, and also with this slide, I just want to capture your attention. If you just look at, in the particular year, during, 19 to 20. So, if you see how much gross expenditure on research and development was spent on R&D activities by various funding agencies. So this is the total, the cost that was spent was 2,500 plus crores has been spent on, as many as 4,076 projects. And also this data is accessible if you go to the science and technology, the NST MIS source, you will also find how many extramural research awards have been granted year wise. So if you see the very latest year, the very latest like 2024-25 or 23-24, even if you see that in the extramural research grants, we do not see so many Ayurveda researchers or Ayurveda institutes have been awarded with the extramural research grants. So the information is available, it is open, anybody can go and see that. Not too many Ayurveda institutes or Ayurveda individual investigators are awarded with EMR. It means that shows that there are not encouraging trend with regard to Ayurveda researchers are getting awarded with the various funding organizations. You can also see that Ayush is also one of the major funding organization. Apart from Ministry of Ayush, the other organizations such as DST, DBT, DRDO, ICMR. So there are not much grants where offered to or provided to or taken by the Ayush sector that is visible. So that is one the status report we can say that. And this just an overview information. Like if we see the comparison of the research productivity with India with other developed countries, including China, so we can understand certain very important things here. So in this slide, you can see this. So per million inhabitants, how many researchers are there in India? We can see that the number is very, very less, 262 is there. But if you see how many PhDs are produced annually in India, it is about 40,000 plus. So in the number of production of PhDs produced annually, India holds third rank in the world among all. And also if you see the publication output in 2022, India has been ranked third position globally. And the very contrast to this, although we enjoy third rank in terms of the publication quantity, that is, you can see the number, it is like a 3 lakh plus publications. But the top 1% most cited article share percentage, if we see that, it is very, very less. It is only 0.7%. It is the most least score. But in terms of patent granted in 2022, India has fared better comparatively comparing to the previous years. It is holding the sixth position worldwide ranking. Okay. So and also in this slide also I just want to I drag your attention. So if you see the overall R&D comparator among major contributors as well as in relation to their economy, if you see population wise, India is the world's, we all know that. But in terms of, if you see the WIPO ranking, the number of patent applications, here also it is somewhat a better performance. We can see the seventh position globally. And if you see, the most importantly, the GERD, the percentage of the money which is being spent on research and development, gross expenditure in research and development, GERD, in proportion to the GDP in 2023, you see that. So the ranking among these 10 listed countries is in the 10th position. That is hardly we are spending 0.6% the overall to the overall GDP, the money. And also in terms of economy, so we are in the sixth position. So what we can understand is, so there, we are in India, there are good number of research outputs or research publications are produced. There are good number of PhD works are produced, and there are good progress and improvement in terms of the patent applications as well as patent granted. But the citation for Indian scientists publications seems to be very less compared to the other condition. And also the GERD expenditure seems to be very low in compared to the other developed countries, although it is being consistently increased. And if we just look into the Ayush network in India, so we all know that there are about 7.5 lakh registered Ayush medical practitioners are there. But the UG undergraduate college, there are 886 colleges are there. But out of which there are about 500 approximately Ayurveda UG colleges are there. And the third one is the PG colleges. Approximately, there may be 95 or 90 plus PG institutes for Ayurveda are there. So why I'm particularly mentioning this is there are more than annual intake of PG courses. You see 7.5 thousand. So out of which I think more than 5,000 postgraduates are may belong to Ayurveda. So this is very important. Why I have kept this slide is if we see the research infrastructure, you can see there are about some 12 national institutes are there and Ayurveda hospital, Ayush dispensaries. These are the number. But to drag your information, in the year 1950s, so in China, there were about some 84,000 uh, traditional Chinese medicine beds were available for for TCM institutes with TCM institutes. So the number 84,000 beds, TCM beds, were enhanced to many dimensions to 28 lakh plus beds, 28 lakh 32,000 plus beds by the year 1993. So there was a phenomenal rise of the physical infrastructure of traditional Chinese medicines, including the major Chinese medicine hospital, Chinese medicine universities, as well as the most important medical colleges. And in the couple of years before, the world's best universities lists were made. In that list also, I think two to three traditional Chinese medicine universities were listed in that also, within 250 ranking category. So why I just want to drag the your attention with regard to this is to produce a quality research, a quality or high standard research infrastructure is very essential. Although we have a considerably very good research infrastructure, still we need to have the advanced research infrastructure. As in the previous session I was going through, there were many the technical inputs were given with regard to how AI can be implemented in Ayurveda. So even to achieve or successfully implement those strategies, it is very essential to have a very robust scientific research infrastructure. So only then it is possible to have a real translational, the value or of Ayurveda. So with this, we can see that where the most important research activities are coming from. So this is the very recent information. We all know that. So Stanford publishes the world's top 2% scientists list. It's a very recent information in 2025. And it fundamentally evaluates the research impact using career-long and a single year citation data across 22 specialties as well as 174 subfields. And the very important factor about this, top 2% scientist list is the adaptation of C score as a very important, the indicator to measure the performance of a scientist. So C score is a complex formula based on 5 to 6 different criteria. But most of those criteria are fundamentally related to the citations. How many citations? Particularly, how many single author the investigator has achieved citations, or how many second author or last author citations, and various other the criteria were being considered. It is not only taking H index to rank or to provide a specific rank to them. So it is a more comprehensive, and it is a one of the good composite indicator um, to measure the performance of scientific activity. And with regard to the same, the world's top 2% scientists list, if you look at India, there were around 6,239 Indian scientists are named in this list. It's a better improvement compared to the previous year. It was about some 3,500 Indian scientists were included in that list. So in the current list, the percentage has been considerably improved to about 3.6% of the total number of scientists listed in this, to the maximum 2,000, 2,30,000. And if we go through this list particularly from Ayurveda or from Ayush sector, so no scientist or no institute has been listed in this particularly. But also we can see this in complementary and allied sciences. So three scientists are named. Two are from S. Vyasa, University of Bengaluru, and one an homeopathic researcher, but he's a professor working on homeopathy molecules. So these three from India within the category of complementary and allied sciences. So in that, SVASA having the rank of 156, 58. In that one, importantly, H. Nagendra sir, who is a very important, he has given a great contribution. His name is also being included in this list. But not any specific Ayurveda institute or any Ayush names are included in this. So IISc Bengaluru is the institute to have the maximum number of scientists from one single organization. There are about 137 people from IISc are being included in this Stanford list of 2% scientists. So this is our scenario. So if we just look into how traditional Chinese medicine is performing in comparing to us. So if you see, there is no specific list is available with regard to the how many number of TCM scientists or faculties are found in that list. But if you see, the Chinese scientists shortlisted in this same list in 2025 are 1,04,000 plus. It means you can see the phenomenal, the share of scientists from China. It is 45.39 percentage of scientists are from China. Out of which, how many are TCM background scientists? The exact number is not available, but for your information, this is a Hong Kong Baptist University, and within this university, the School of Chinese Medicine is one division, and that School of Chinese Medicine has 13 scientists. One institute has a 13 scientists from this list. It means naturally we can expect that there may be good number of TCM scientists are also featured in this prestigious list. So we can see this. These two are the TCM scientists who are working in TCM. So their global ranking is fifth as well as sixth. So we can understand the quality of research output and the reach of TCM is very, very far ahead than us. So it is just to have sensitization. And also Ministry of Ayush has also published the strategies of TCM, how the advancement of TCM has been happened, and as a policy guideline that is also being published by Ministry of Ayush also. And how this is possible, how TCM can feature or TCM can make this possible. It is not only one single factor related thing that has made this thing possible to TCM, which is not possible for Ayurveda. Fundamentally, the most important thing is world-class infrastructure for TCM. As I mentioned earlier, in the year 1950s, the very early periods of, during that time, mostly there were similar situations, but the inpatient bed was phenomenally rise from 84,000 to 28 lakh beds for TCM medicines, and also establishment of very important TCM universities and medicines. And another most notable infrastructure achievement of TCM is establishing the integrated model of the medical colleges. I think, in fact, in 90% of conventional medical colleges in China, they have a TCM as an integrated model. So 90% of the medical colleges in China, they have a integrated medical system. So the government of India has initiated with JIPMER Pondicherry, that is still going on, but that is one successful model with regard to the infrastructure for TCM that made these scientific visibility in terms of indexing or publication is possible. And second important thing is, as I said, powerful integration model. So it's a very good functional integration model has been achieved by TCM. And international regulatory compliance, there are many European guidelines for specifically with the traditional Chinese medicines are implemented, and also WHO guidelines and ICH GCP guidelines. All these are well channelized, and a very good mechanism is already being established. And also UNESCO, it's also very important. Like UNESCO has given the tangible cultural heritage, tag to TCM. It is also included in the UNESCO Memoir of, the World Register. The TCM classical medical books have been included in the UNESCO heritage list. And recently in India, Bhagavad Gita and Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra was also given this heritage tag by UNESCO. But we wish Ayurveda, particularly Charaka Samhita or Sushruta Samhita or any Grohatrais also would get that UNESCO heritage tag in the days to come. And the next most important thing why TCM advancing is robust data and database. These are the two important things. They have a very good sound system. As in the previous session also, Sir was mentioning about having a database for all these phytochemical constituents and entire details of the analytical informations. So with regard to that, they have got a very huge database and most sophisticated translational Chinese medicine network they have. Because they have developed a very workable, the models, translational TCA models in a very integrated manner. So both conventional medicine as well as TCM go hand in hand, and there are many successful models have been included for condition specific or disease specific, even including like cardiovascular diseases or cancer or various other diseases conditions. And there is a very robust scientific ecosystem that is also very, very important. Because all these things are mutually complementary with each other. Because a powerful integration model naturally provides you a very good, scientific ecosystem, and that is very, very important even for Ayurveda. Because although we are good at our science, it is equally important for us in today's scenario to be sensitized and to be aware of the other scientific or other disciplines where or from which we can how we can extract or how we can have a collaboration and how we can enhance or utilize those knowledge systems to uplift the understanding and applications of Ayurveda principles to enhance the clinical applications. And to cite few examples, you can just see this. This is the Chinese medicine database. This is only dedicated to the literature database. The another phenomenal thing what they have done is they have established a literature database, a complete literature database, starting from as early as 300 BC till the very recent time. Whatever literature, whatever informations which are available with regard to the traditional Chinese medicine have been collected, catalogued, and digitized, and they have been preserved, and they have been loaded in the database. So, the tip of the finger, every information related to the traditional Chinese medicine literature resources are very, easily available, and it is one of the phenomenal work. And also, in the India, also we have the Namami, and still, the literature, the searching and the collection and documentation, cataloging of Ayurveda manuscript, it's still going on. So it is believed that there are more than 1 lakh Ayurveda manuscripts may be available today, but out of which very few number of manuscripts are collected by most important organization. And this is just a comparator, like it needs to be done, because that is having a source of this ancient heritage information is very, very crucial and critical for the advancement. And the second website I would just like to show you is to TCM Bank. This is one of the most advanced database that has been developed by TCM. So it provides a standardized information with regard to the TCM with the ingredients, diseases, and their corresponding gene targets. So this is one of the very fundamental thing, like Informatics was the previous session. So for Informatics, having a workable database is most crucial, very, very crucial. So this database, TCM Bank, is one of the phenomenal, one of the most sophisticated, advanced, the AI model, which enables or which expedites the drug discovery system using the modern sophisticated technology. So it's a comprehensive network containing a very important piece of relationship. You can go to the website and you can see this. To mention very importantly, so this database has the informations related to the Chinese herbal medicines. So we also have the list of herbs which are mentioned in the classical Ayurveda, but very importantly, we do not have the database to show the ingredients. So particularly with regard to every herbal drugs of TCM, and also they have identified the targets along with the diseases. So the more precise and readily available information. So this fastens, the research activity, and also when any research activity is done with this sort of advanced informations, naturally the publication will have a fetch a very good, the public attention or the scientific community's attention. Because if you see, most of the citations or most of the top 2% scientists, if you see the background, most of them are from the background of pharmacology or, the phytochemistry or the chemistry background. Because that is the one area where the research work would be very precise and focused, and, the visibility would be naturally very, very high. So this is how the TCM could able to achieve, the standards what. And also there are so many other databases are available with regard to various functionalities. You can also see in the first one, for ADME related properties, they have a dedicated, database. And also you can see the second one, details with regard to the herbs and their compounds. And also the mass spectrogram details with regard to 170 medicine materials. And also integrative database of TCM, particularly with the ingredients, target genes, like as I displayed the earlier one, similar to that, and to guide drug discovery, and collective molecular activities of useful plants. So, which is also having information related to activity profiles, biological pathways, and diseases for the classes of TCM and edible plants. So, the most sophisticated information, we would say. And also the commonly used herbs, and comprehensive and standardized informations. So there are so many informations which are already done in over all these 6 decades of time, and they have established a robust mechanism through which, because of these reasons, their publications, although which is fundamentally or philosophically similar to Ayurveda, but their public visibility and acceptance is much, in the larger scale compared to Ayurveda. So coming to the most important thing, so the Cochrane database. So if we see the Cochrane database, if you just type traditional Chinese medicine, So this is what the information we get. So there are about 64 reviews are available and Cochrane products, and you can see the products with regard to the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. So this is what the status. And similarly, if we see Cochrane Ayurveda, if you abstract keyword, if you type Ayurveda, so there are only two Cochrane reviews are available, and Cochrane protocols, only one, and these are the trials. But still here also we can understand the number of the scientific works which appear in a validated or in a testified scientific platform are very very less. Why? Why we could not able to produce a good number of Cochrane reviews? See, or any other, the visibility. See, fundamentally, what we need to understand is this one. So, quality publications in Ayurveda. So, the first thing, quality publication, if we look at what are the feeding cadre, who are the feeding cadre for publications in Ayurveda? If we see that, from where the publications of Ayurveda are coming from. So we all know that, as I mentioned in the previous slide, in the Ayush infrastructure, there are about 90 plus Ayurveda PG institutes are there. So the most number of publications in Ayurveda are coming from the postgraduate and doctoral research works or research studies. It means the majority, I would say like more than 90% of the publications are coming from the postgraduate scholars, PG thesis related works, and PhD works also for some extent. And there are not many papers are coming from, when compared to the the magnitude of number of publications, not so good number of papers are coming from the individual researchers or investigator initiated research works. I was mentioning in the previous slides also, if you go to the the National Science and Technology portal, if you see the extramural research grants, how many extramural research grants has been awarded to Ayurveda institutes or Ayurveda researchers? If we see that there are not many or very least or no grants are awarded to institutes or independent researchers, extramural grants. Because that is very, very important, because through the grants, one can write a paper that is individual, authored paper, it is possible. So that type of works are very, very less in Ayurveda. And further, less number of papers are coming from the allied scientists. So although allied scientists are working on Ayurveda materials, but not an Ayurveda paper in its face value. So these are the reasons. And what should be done to enhance the quality of the publication? So as we all know that, since the PG or PhD research works are serving the as a fundamental, the feeding cadre for Ayurveda research. So it is very, very imperative, and it is very, very essential to enhance the quality of PG, postgraduate and postdoctoral or doctoral research works, including the publications. And also there should be promotion of investigator initiative funded projects, so that more Ayurveda people are writing for funding agencies and getting the funds, having a collaborative network of various allied disciplines, so then produce a publish or publications. So naturally, the interdisciplinary collaborative research needs to be promoted, so that we can really produce good publications. So these or my individual perspective. So and also these things are true in the sense. And coming to the quality publications, if we see quality publications, so publication, it is, although it is the author initiated activity or author's activity, it is a teamwork essentially. So the teamwork consists, fundamentally there may be many other people also, or many other individuals also may be involved in it, but fundamentally author, editorial board and reviewer. So these three are very, very crucial in delivering a quality publications. So the roles and responsibilities by each one of them needs to be properly delivered. Then only it is possible. So authors part of thing. So what are the important criteria that authors needs to be conscious about? the fundamentally the most important is the scientific validation of the scientificity of the publication is very very important. It means whatever the publications, whatever the research article which is being written by an author, it must be very, very much scientific, it must be precise, it must be objective. And very importantly, the research works taken up by Ayurveda faculties or fraternities must be very, very sound methodologically. So the methodological soundness is very, very important. We need to understand the methodology properly. We have to identify exact methodology and we have to adopt the research question in a most compatible way to the objectives, how we can achieve the outcome. Okay, and also standardization of the materials. It means the whole research process needs to be very standard, ethically as well as scientifically. So then high quality analytical data. So that is these things fundamentally related to the quality of the scientific publication or the contents of the scientific publication. The second important thing is ethical conduct. So the author needs to be, adhere to the ethical principles regard to various aspects. So like as which is displayed, IEC approval and all adherence to the ethical, conduct. And the another most important thing now it is we can see that the publications are adhering to the publication reporting guidelines, and that is also equally important for anyone. So to mention few, these guidelines are mentioned, but it is also another important from the perspective of the author and scientific writing. So whatever we are writing, that needs to be scientific. So here what we see most of the publications in Ayurveda lacking with a good, the contents or, the quality of the contents. Because the most important thing, although we are following the IMRAD method, the original intellectual product of the investigator or of the author is the discussion part. So the discussion part needs to be very, very informative, engaging, and which must be realistic to your observations. So, but what we see is the discussion part, which is written in most of the articles, scientific journals, would be very, very hypothetical or imaginary, like how the things which are described that is written only Ayurveda people can understand. But if a non-Ayurveda person is going through that, it would be very very difficult for him to understand. So these are the practical difficulties. So we need to produce the contents which are understandable and engaging and realistic, and which are close to your objectives and your findings. So that scientific temperament or scientific the rigor has to be enhanced in the contents. So the convincing narration is very very important, because there should not be disconnect between your introduction till the conclusion. So there should be a continuity in the narration. So the mostly in some of the publications we miss with the continuity of the narration in terms of convincing. And also adequate references. Adequate references is not only citing or referring to the classical informations, but exhaustive referencing is very very important, while particularly most importantly to two sections, that is the review of literature as well as the discussion part. So the discussion part can be certainly improved with much better referencing, with much better literature studies concerning with the other allied sciences. So these are the very important things an author needs to be sensitized before writing his publications. And also the second role is editorial board role. So I have only three more slides. I will conclude in 5 minutes with your permission. So editorial board role is also very very important, and because that is very very important to devise the strategic goal and mission of the journal, and to make the very strong publication decisions. And editorial board, most of the time what happens, editorial boards, although it is constituted, but it is not all the members of the editorial boards are regularly involved in deciding the particular publication related things. The more consensual, more the dialogue within the editorial board team with regard to the publication or contents of a specific volume or issue, that would be really more productive. And also the shared roles and responsibilities between the various the persons holding different positions such as associate editor and editorial board is very very important. Okay, so it is very the most important thing is manage the review process to ensure that manuscript move through review and revision as efficiently as possible. This is most important because the peer reviewing system needs to be the very strong the aspect of the editorial board activity and liaison with the editor in chief to identify suitable reviewers, obtain reviews, and make recommendations to the editor in chief. And also, editorial board may act on scientific expertise may be provided to the journal and serve as a peer review. Sometimes editorial board also may act as a peer review and suggest topics and authors for commission reviews and commentaries. That is the shared responsibility of various stakeholders in a editorial board. And coming to the last, the reviewer's responsibility, the most important. This would be my second last slide. I will finish it in 5 minutes. So the reviewer must have a very responsibility towards author as well as towards editor. So I'm not going to read out the entire slide, it is visible, but the most importantly, a reviewer should be independent, he should not be biased, he should be an independent thinker, and he should be an enthusiast, a scientific enthusiast. He must be able to give his time with dedication and interest, and if we can really go through the contents or the manuscript with the genuine the observations, that is really going to help to produce a good quality publications. Okay, and also it's very important. Identifying the exact reviewer is very important, and also having the subject expertise or the knowledge related to that specific area of research work is also equally important. So identifying the right reviewer is equally very important. And in addition to that, reviewer has got his own responsibility towards the author as well as the editors, so that is displayed. Okay. And the most important thing is the ethical responsibilities of the reviewer. So the fundamentally the confidentiality. So he has to adhere to the principles of ethical conduct by a reviewer. And a constructive critic, that is very important. The reviewer must provide in fact the reviewer must help to enhance the quality of the publication by providing quality scholarly inputs to the author. And competence is very important. The identifying the right reviewer for the right article is very important, and the competence of the reviewer would certainly enhance the quality of the manuscript. And it's very important, the ethical aspect, impartiality and integrity. Obviously, you should not be stigmatized or biased. So you should be a neutral, like an APTA, as I said earlier. And disclosure of conflict of interest, if any, and timeliness and responsive. This is one of the most important thing, because most of the reviewers do not respond in time, and also the lag, and they take multiple extensions, so that should not happen. So it should be very a constructive participation in the reviewing process by the reviewer is very essential and fundamental to enhance the quality of publications. Okay, so this would be my last slide. So the takeaway, what I mean to say is, the essential key for writing is to write regularly, like it or not. Great ideas come often by writing. Releasing the subconscious, waiting for inspiration and ideas will not certainly work, but it does help to have a notebook with you all the time for sudden brainstorms or inspiration. So the writing is a skill as well as is an art. So the more we engage in writing, we can certainly witness the improvement in the quality of writing, and which may enhance the reputation of the scientist with regard to the quality research output. So to end with, keep learning with humility. So as Charaka rightly mentions that Jnanottana Upakarana Sampatsu Nityam Yatnavato Cha. So Jnanavata apicha na atyartam atmano jnane vikatithavyam. So learning with humility is very essential for anybody, particularly with regard to an author who is writing. So we need to constantly, making our efforts in enhancing and understanding and learning new things, and it is a continuous process. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that highly insightful and practical presentation. We'll now take a few audience questions before we move to the closing segment. Please post your questions in the chat box. So we have a question by Dr. A. Ramakrishna. What about UGC indexing, sir?
Yes, sir. It has been withdrawn currently, and the peer review system, they have given the criteria. So any journal which is meeting with that criteria are maybe considered on par with the UGC indexing or UGC-CARE list. So that is the recent development with regard to UGC-CARE list. But most important thing is they have emphasized the peer reviewing system. So any journals with a sound, robust peer reviewing system with the specific criteria may be considered for publication.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other question? Ministry, Ayush, JDRS, IJAR. What exactly is the question, Dr. A? Indexing, sir. So basically, sir, they are asking about the indexing only.
Yeah, you can go to the website of that particular journal. So the indexing are listed. So based on that, we can choose whichever journal which is ideal as per your discipline, and you can always opt for the journals which have more indexing services that naturally believed to be high quality journals.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for such a deeply insightful session. Any other queries if you have, you can post that on info@sdach.ac.in. That email ID will be available, and we will respond to all the other queries on that email ID itself. Before we move towards the I would request all the members before we move for the last part